So Raid Masters is a next Rammus raiding tournament going on right now. So I actually messaged Zirene about it whether he, before when I was just initially looking into it because everyone in progress was kind of talking about it and seeing whether we would do it or not. And there are some issues as far as like participating in Raid Masters. So people are asking like, hey, why isn't Progress participating in this? Why isn't Dream State participating in this? So here are the reasons why. For example, Progress isn't participating in this. So at the start when we were looking into it at the very beginning when we first heard about it, at first we didn't even know who was run by because that's the thing when we go on the website there's no information on who's really running it. It says sponsored by a bunch of sponsors. There's no information. I can pull up the website now actually. So
G Loot, Warcraft
yeah,
Logs,
yeah.
HyperX.
So it's pretty much you see like Raid Masters run by G Loot, Warcraft Logs, HyperX. These are just sponsors. And if you're clicking around, we had no idea who was even running it. We couldn't really even tell. It was just, and then we went to like the YouTube. There's no subscribers on the YouTube. We went to like the Twitch account. There's no subscribers on the Twitch account. So we didn't really know what was going on. And that was the first thing that made us kind of, that made people kind of sketch. We're like, oh, do we do this? Or what is this random tournament going on? But then you look at the prize money. So the prize money is 4,000.
That's my favorite part.
Is 4,000. So if you divide that by 40 people, everyone's getting like $100. If you get first place, if you get first place, you get $100 each, and it's really not a lot of money for when you think about an entire raid because someone on the officer team is going to have to organize all this as well. So there's going to be logistic issues. There's a whole bunch of things.
Is this going to be a GDKP thing where they get an extra cut? Is that what you're saying? The officers take an extra cut?
Yeah.
IRL GDKP?
It's so much work for what is potentially $100 for each person and less if you want to give more to the person who's helping to run all this stuff. And then you get into the problem of like time slots as well. Like is what we've been talking about before is that having to force your raid to run at a specific time is actually really annoying for people who have set days when they like to run and people clear the schedule. There's set days when they're doing PTR things and having to like interrupt your PTR things in the middle of a DMF as well. Like all of these things just add to the downsides of doing this to the point where at some point a lot of people just didn't see the value in doing it. They don't see what they gain from doing it, besides maybe a little bit of bragging rights or for the fun of it. But if you're just going if you're like a Progress or a Dream State, and all you really want is you just want to get the fastest next time, you don't really care about anything else. Yeah. It's actually a downside to participate in this tournament overall.
Well, like Dars just said, like in chat, clout is the reason to do it, but I think the tournament is now heavily hindered, even though I'm like participating in it and we obviously want to win. The win is definitely watered down by the fact that Noobs in Progress aren't there. We consider now like Rise, Tribe, and Salad Bakers to be like the biggest competition for us. But without Progress and Noobs there is a legitimate chance that we can get first or second in Rain. Without having to like really outdo like China strats or top tier EU strats. Salad Bakers, they're really, really good. But they're not like Progress or Noobs in terms of just weird execution of like, I mean like Progress damage. Salad Bakers just do so much damage. Like they're closer to us than the other ones in terms of blender strats, but it just execution wise, China's on a different level, and I'm kind of glad that they're not there in Noobs. But like Salad Bakers is the one where out of the three, I think they're the least scary for us personally, because I just don't think we'd be able to do what Noobs does, and Progress are just really clean when they're on. So, and like Salad Bakers, I think can mess up. That's the thing that I think is like there are people who will mess up sometimes and slow a run down. And they just have to have a clean run, and so do we. And then it's kind of like wherever the time lands, that's where it lands. Yeah. But now it's like way more of a legitimate chance for Rain to actually win it. But the win would be watered down, and there's always that asterisk next to it where it's like Noobs and Progress did not participate in this tournament. It's like number 1 Nax in the world. By the way, they were not here. These actually number 1 and 2 were not here. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
it's like League of Legends World Season 1, where it's like Europe won, Korea was not in this tournament, like that type of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, the time slots are actually like a bigger factor than people realize as well, because like a lot of people just assume that like these big mega guilds, they have enough people, they can run wherever they want, they're just going to do PTR sessions all the time. But there's actually a lot of logistics that managing things and when people are free to be able to run, especially if you're on a super griefed server like Firemore. If people find out like, oh, Progress has to get in on a Thursday. Okay, if we grief them from here to here, we can stop these many people from getting World Buzz, these many people from getting in. And you know 100%. We have WCB a Horde only on the server. You know they're going to turn it up to 100 knots. If they find out that, oh, Progress is doing this tournament on Thursday, we're going to stop them. And we're going to grief them for 3 days to stop them summoning into the instance. So the time slots really were actually like a big stopping block among other things that just led to Progress not really wanting to do it, because really it is actually a downside to doing the tournament.
There is a really interesting thing here with the way that it's being run, and that's that the tournament organizers, it's hard to build hype for these runs because you don't know who's running next. Like right now, it's 50 minutes until the next run on the Raid Masters thing, and I don't know who's going next. And if they announce it, that guild's probably going to start getting griefed. Like that, people don't know when we're running, and we hope to God they don't know when we're running, kind of thing, right? So it's hard to like build hype and be like, this is what's coming up next, or that, or anything like that. You don't really get to know who's running until it's happening, and that's, I think, kind of a downside of it. In my mind, if the PTR were more stable, it would be the place to do it. Yeah. Because PTR, absolutely, there's no griefing. You'd summon people, you'd be good to go. You just have a world buff character ahead of time, and boom, you're good. Problem with PTR is stability. Also, on top of that, add-ons transferring over and the hotkeys not always perfect. So yeah, there's, no matter what you do, there's always going to be some type of like hold up on this tournament, which makes it a little bit. It's ambitious. I think it's cool that they're doing it, and especially since it's something like I get to participate in. But I sympathize with their position. I don't want to be in that position running this tournament, because it is hard to do well.
Yeah, it's not like, if the prize money was to really incentivize the top guilds to do this and actually seriously give it a shot at this, you have to raise the prize money like 10 times or something before it's actually incentivizing people. Okay, ooh, everyone gets $1,000 if we do this. Okay, that's actually some interesting cash there for the people.
There's not money like that. You're not going to make returns like that. Like tournaments are not handouts. Tournaments are companies or organizations trying to get eyes on sponsors or events and continue perpetuating that, or even a game, right? Like that's what the LCS was getting eyes on the game. Right. And you wouldn't put money into it that you didn't think you couldn't get back out via the advertising what you're doing. Right. So you don't throw money into a black hole and go, everybody gets $1,000. And this tournament made us $5. Thanks for the one sub. Like, it's like, that's not gonna.
Yeah, well, I mean, that brings up another thing that was kind of like why some people didn't want to participate here was that if this was a event run by Blizzard themselves, or it was like an LCS level Riot event type thing, then it'd be a lot easier to get people on board and excited to do it. But when you go to the YouTube and the Twitch and you see, oh wait, they have no followers, and you're essentially giving them the clout to be able to do this, and when you're like, every big speedrun team almost has at least one guy who's like the designated streamer guy, and that guy is probably going to lose his audience to the Raid Masters guys if you're participating under the Raid Masters rules and such. People are going to go watch the Raid Masters stream, so you're giving the Raid Masters stream the clout, but you're not sure when that clout's going to come back to you because they're smaller than you are, which is like a really weird exchange. So that's those reasons are roughly why
you're doing more help for them than they are for you. Like, I was told that I am not allowed to have anything on my stream except for a chat cover. That's our raid. That's our guild logo. So that's all I'm really allowed to have on the stream, covering it. So nothing else, like no like photos,
Yeah.
anything
Oh,
like that. There's like
that's right.
stream guidelines.
There's a
So
whole bunch. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of requirements as well. If you're going to stream, you had to give them access to your Discord. You had to have at least 2 clean streams and then a bunch of audio workarounds and things like that. It was just a lot of hassle for not a lot of payoff. I think is why a lot of people didn't want to do it.